Okay, where do we end? Where do you go? Oh, Alan, you good? Yeah, yeah. Thanks so much. Okay. Oh, sorry, bud. Right up there, any more? Freddie?
How we doing?
We have ASAP for Coach Stoops, the other assistant coaches, Coach Dawson, Coach Ellie, Coach Merrill. They will not be ASAP, but we'll have ASAP for Coach Stoops.
All right, it's an exciting time. I feel very good about this recruiting class. As you all know and have been following, it's been a little bit of a grind. It's been a tough year in certain aspects and great in others. I feel like we really hit on a bunch of guys we were looking for. Big thing that you'll notice with this group is great size, great length. We feel like we hit a lot of areas of need in the secondary, O-line, D-line. So overall, very pleased with this group. I think hitting 13 defensive guys was important. I felt like, we just continue to build depth, to get the size we're looking for, to get the players in the secondary was important. So we were aggressive with defensive players. Signing 13 of them was important for us and for our future. Offensively, 4 offensive linemen. It's always important to continue to build quality depth and to get just solid class after solid class with offensive line. It takes time to develop those guys, so feel very good with that group. I feel like once again with that class, with the offensive line, it was good to get size once again. We needed more girth. We need to be more physical. You've heard me talk about that time and time again, so I feel good about the offensive line. Another group that you see great length and great size is the wide receiver position. 2 guys in the 6'3" range, 1 guy in the 6'6" range, and once again, we're starting to build a quality group of receivers. We have a good nucleus, a good group coming back for next year's team that's already on our campus, and with the addition of these guys, once again, to continue to build some size. Tight end was another area of need, as you all know. So hitting on two tight ends was also important. And then with the late addition of the running back, with King, I really felt like that was an important position to get somebody in that position, and he's a guy that we felt like had big playability and great speed. So he was a great addition to our class late throughout the process. Once again, defensively, all areas, we needed each level of the defense. Signing 4 defensive linemen with great size was very important to us. 2 guys that stand out to me right away is Alvante and Courtney, and those guys are difference makers. It was very important to get those guys and to land them, and we went through some good recruiting battles to land those guys. So feel very good about the defensive line class and the size and the strength and explosiveness of that group. Linebackers, we got to continue to build depth there. Feel very good about the linebacking group and the size and the athleticism and the speed of those guys. And the biggest area, probably the area where I feel like we hit was the secondary. And you all know, you've listened to me enough after each game, and we had some bad matchup problems at times. We play against some guys in this league that have great size and great skill at the receiver position, and I felt like we really needed to upgrade and get some quality guys in the secondary, and I feel very good about this group. As you hear me talk, after games and areas of need and continuing to build this program, you hear me talk about being physical. And it's not just on the O-line and D-line. When you talk about physical and length, you're talking about all levels of your team. So I really felt like we needed to continue to improve that size and that physicality in the secondary and in the wide receiver position and linebackers and so on. So and certainly tight ends. So overall, feel very good about this group. I felt like it was key for us this last week, these last couple days, into last night and into this morning, to close on a few guys. As you know, it gets very delicate when you try to hit that number perfectly. Heading into this recruiting class, we had 23 spots available. We could have signed up to 25, and you got to count on some attrition between now and next fall. But we actually had 23. That's what we signed. I feel very good about that. It gives us a little bit of leeway, if we have some attrition throughout our team between here and the summer. So. Once again, it was, I think a lot has been written and a lot of people have followed it. We've gone through some ups and some downs, but overall, very pleased, very happy with this group. There are some very good football players that are going to be joining us, and very excited to have them. So just overall, very pleased, very happy. I really appreciate our staff. I feel like this group of coaches worked extremely hard. They work relentlessly around the clock, did an awful lot of traveling, and really worked hard to hold this class together. And it's not like a lot of times you hear me talking after a game. A couple plays here, a couple plays there. Same thing, couple players here, a couple players there. Push you one way or the other. But overall, very solid effort, and really appreciate the efforts of our staff.
Stretch like this in your, or endured a stretch like this in your career where there's many guys change course in a short window of time? How much do you think that was related to how you guys finished the season?
I don't think a lot was had to do with how we finished at all. I mean, as you say, if that would have been the case, I think we'd have had some turning early. I don't think it had a lot to do with that. But no, I haven't been around a lot that has changed, that you had that much change within a 7-day span or so. I don't think we're alone. I think it's a situation that probably needs to be addressed on a national level. But again, I'm not concerned about the guys we did not get. I'm very excited about the players we got. But are there some issues? Are there some things that could be improved nationwide? I think so.
What do you feel about the early signing period on the calendar?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a need. I don't think. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody. I'd say the people I know and talk with, absolutely everybody is for an early signing period. Where and when is the big discussion. And that's where a lot of people have different opinions. And I just know, generally speaking, I don't want to speak for the other coaches in our conference. I just know from our meetings, it just a general thought is people are not in favor of changing drastically our recruiting calendar, which means we're already got a lot on our plate, and you start doing things and having officials and things like that in the summer, spring, all that stuff gets very hectic. I think the consensus in our league is we like the way it's laid out right now. If you could just find some kind of happy medium with an early signing period. My personal thought is it makes no sense not to. But we recruit these guys for over a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it may be. And if they give us our word and they want to come to Kentucky, then give them the scholarship and let them sign it. And that protects both them and you. I think sometime in December has been mentioned, and that's what I'd be in support of. That gives you the entire season if they want to come up. And a lot of coaches in our league, are afraid to move it up too far because we all are a little bit hesitant about hosting official visits all fall, because we're busy enough with games, and then you take on, I don't know if you do the families justice a lot of times because we don't have the time to spend with them, and a lot of people are opposed to that. But the point is, for us, and again, I could only speak for ourselves, they're going to come in season anyway. If if a prospect wants to come to a game on an official visit in the fall, then we say okay, bring them in and we host them anyway. So we're dealing with it. We're dealing with the extra work as it is. And once again, if that's what I'd be in favor of. Give them the time to come in the fall, give them the time to go to a few weekends in December, and let them sign sometime before Christmas and get it wrapped up. It only makes sense. They have our word that I'm going to give them a scholarship, and it would certainly save the university an awful lot of money, and it would save our coaches an awful lot of time. Our coaches are flying all over the country, and I know not a lot of people are worried about that, but they're going all over the place, and sometimes just holding, just holding things down. And the vast majority of these guys never even blinked. They've been very solid, and they've been great to recruit the whole time. But that we never take anything for granted. So we're going in there each and every week, making sure things are buttoned down. So, there's got to be a happy medium in there somewhere.
Mark, on the flip side of players.
Tell us about what happened in Richmond and 3 players.
Pardon me?
What can you tell us about what
To be honest with you, just what you tell me, Alan. You know, I don't know. You know, I'm trying to gather the information. You know, I've been reading a bunch of reports from, you know, what everybody said, and to this point, I don't know what's true and what's not. You know, so I just, you know, I have certain information, and I just need to let the legal process do its, you know, go through its course. Right now, nobody's been charged. I think you know, there's a lot of people looking into it, and I need to get a little bit more accurate information, you know, on that and see where it goes.
How many of these guys that you got late commitments from, were you agreeing through the whole process, or did some of them pop up over?
So, yeah, most of them we had a good fix on, and you know, so most of the guys we knew about, or our coaches have been in contact and following up and staying on them and things like that. So, yeah.
Some of the fans might be surprised with the names of some of the late guys. Were you surprised at any of the late commitments?
I don't know about surprised. I was pleased with some things down the stretch. You know, I'd be lying if I knew, you know, if I told you I was going to walk in here this morning and knew exactly how this was going to play out. So you never take anything for granted. So I was pleased with some of the way we closed on some guys.
A guy like Avante Bell, who committed to Kentucky, didn't put up the best numbers in junior college. What did you see from him in 2 years?
Yeah, the more quiet, the better. That's what I didn't want anybody to know about him. We didn't talk about him. None of y'all knew about him. Nobody said a word about him, and that's the way I liked it. So he's a very good football player, very explosive. Our coaches have gone there and watched him practice and been around him, and you know, we feel like he's got a very bright future.
What did each of the 4 early enrollees give you right away?
Pardon me?
What did each of the 4 early enrollees give you now that they're here on campus?
Well, you know, those guys have been very solid. They've been very good football players. Our strength and conditioning coaches have been very impressed with those guys. Physically, they're what you want. And with the 4 high school guys and the 2 transfers, all 6 of those guys have been nothing but good for our team. They're physically what you want. Mentally, they've been doing a great job. So it's been very good to have those guys on campus. And again, all of our coaches that have been around those guys have been very impressed with them, both athletically and how mature they are.
Mark, on the flip side of players decommitting from the school, what's your sort of stance on late in the process, a guy that's been committed to you for a long time, saying, you know, there's not room now, or we want you to wait and come next year?
Yeah, you know, I think you're going to probably see more and more of that. You know, it's not something I'm comfortable with. I think you probably know enough about me, and you know how I try to be very fair and very direct. And you know, so for me, it's not something I'm very comfortable with, because you know, relationships are very important to me. And as I go and recruit and talk to a prospect and talk to their parents and give them my word that I'm going to take care of them, you know, that's something very hard for me to do. So when I go and say I'm going to take care of them and treat them exactly how I want my son to be treated, that's not how I want my son to be treated. So I don't know how I could say that and then do it. That's just me.
Mark, what would you say to the average Big Blue Nation person?
Pardon me?
What would you say to the Big Blue Nation about the way things are done and how recruiting, as you all in tax right now?
Mhm.
People right here are not used to it.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people?
Well, I think I'd tell them that we're fishing in the right waters. You know, I think we're going after the right guys. So I think our staff has done a nice job of targeting and evaluating some very good players. And early on, sometimes when we go and target these guys and recruit them and sometimes get a commitment, and a year later they blow up, I feel like the staff deserves some good credit for that, because I feel like we're working extremely hard. We're already worked hard on 16. We've been at it for months, but in particular, really zeroed in on it again this week and moving forward on 16. But I feel like our staff does a nice job. We work very hard at identifying the right talent, and then we go after them. And I told you that from day one, that we're going to compete and we're going to battle with the very best teams in the country, and we're going to win some and we're going to lose some.
Mark, how confident are you that either of the transfers will be able to play this fall?
I don't think it's appropriate for me to comment on that at that time. We'll submit the paperwork and the appeals and see if we can get him cleared to play. I have no idea. You know, it probably wouldn't be right for me to guess on that.
Offensively, have not, before you got here, the tight end, in terms of pass catching, is not a big part of the offense. How much did you target CJ for that? How much do you think you might help him?
Yeah, I think it was very important for us to target CJ and to land him. He's a guy that we feel like can be a complete tight end. He certainly can run and catch, and you see him physically getting better already since he's been on campus. I want to say he's gained in the neighborhood of 10 pounds or so already and getting more physical. So it was very important for us to get a tight end, and we need to continue to recruit and develop tight ends.
Mark, what are your expectations for Eli Brown and Mason Wolf, the two
Yeah.
state guys?
I think, you know, two very good football players. It was very important for us to get those guys, Mason and Eli. There's a good chance that they'll be redshirted, but talent-wise and size and everything, they're exactly what we're looking for, with the exception of Eli, of course, getting a little bit more physical, but he'll do that with no problem. He could run and change direction. He's very explosive and very talented, so very happy to have him.
Mark, now that you've been through recruiting classes and you've got numerous small pieces, can you give us a feel as to where you think this program is at, just from a physical point of view?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're much closer to where we want to be. You know, I think you know, I was commenting on one of the shows that we had here today about that, as far as you know, where do we go from here? So it's very exciting to wrap up this class. You know, everybody asks me all the time what I feel about this. Well, you know, we put a lot of hard work, and it's good to get it wrapped up. It's good to introduce them to our fan base and to the media and talk about these guys publicly, which is nice. But what's really encouraging is to get back with our team and develop our team. You know, our guys have been working since we've been on the road, since we've been back after the break. You know, the coaches have been on the road traveling and recruiting and hosting weekends and all that stuff, and our team has been busting their tail in here with our strength and conditioning team. And the nice thing is we've been back on campus, and when we are back on Fridays or this week, walking around the weight room and walking around the complex and seeing our guys, physically, it's much closer to what we want to look like. You know, so we feel very encouraged about where we're at and where we're headed. I think it's going to be a fun group to coach. They are anxious, and we are anxious to get with them and to have a very tough, demanding winter to continue to build the toughness that we need in this program. So, you know, I feel very good about where we're headed.
Marcus, you guys have sold a vision really for the last 3 years to prospects coming in here, what you think this thing can be. Important going into a fourth recruiting class and a third season are the results in the field this fall. As you try to
You ready to turn it up already, huh? Yeah, well, why not? I'm not. It's important, you know. I mean, you know that. I've never, you know, I've answered that question the same way. Whether it's year 1, year 2, or year 3, it's always important to go out and compete at a high level. It's important to win, you know, and you know that's always going to be the case. I think, as I just answered, I think we're getting closer and closer to where we want to be. I know we're making strides, and we're going to continue to put our head down, go to work, and get better. Well, I think KG is a guy that, you know, much like a lot of these guys that I talked about, is what you're looking for. First of all, he's a high character guy. He's got great size, great length. He's an unbelievable student, you know, and so he's the type of guy you're looking for in your program.
You don't often want to play a freshman offensive lineman, but having a guy here early and having the
George.
chance to get himself physically ready and
Yeah.
through spring ball, is he one you looked at and hoped could help you right
Yeah. George Asafo is a guy that physically has everything you want. He's very mature. He works extremely hard. You just look at him. You just walk around the building and look at him. He looks as good, if not as good or better than anybody we have on our team. And he's been here just a couple weeks. So I think it's very important to have him here in the spring, and he will definitely help us. And he's definitely the type of inside physical presence that we've been looking for. And our other guys are getting better, as we know. But certainly it's good to have George here.
You know, he said his initial plan was maybe to redshirt, but then maybe if he got here in the summer, what are his chances to contribute right
We'll see. We'll see how he does in the winter and how he does in the spring practices. But he's a guy that initially you would think that because physically he needs to mature a little bit and put on a little bit of strength and a little bit of weight. But talent-wise, he has everything you're looking for.
Looking back to last year's class, and brought in some linebackers that none of them were able to really come in and help you. How
Yeah.
important is that group,
Yeah.
spring and in the fall at a position where you really
It's important. It's important. I feel like Ryan really played well at the end of the year. So he'll help us. And Josh, obviously, as we talked about all through the fall, really showed some flashes of doing some really good things. But we need to constantly develop depth, especially at the outside linebacker position as well. So Denzel is a guy we're very high on coming off red shirt that could really help us and hopefully be the body type and explosive like Bud was. Obviously, he won't be as seasoned as Bud, but a very talented guy.
Mark, have you made any progress on the safety special teams at all?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's official with Andy Boo. So I think Tony's going to give you a release. We just got some clearance today, or got it official.
Literally, I just got a text a couple of minutes ago. We got official clearance on him.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it was official. So.
we have the same responsibilities, or what will his say?
It will not be the same responsibilities, no. He will work with outside backers. I am not giving him the special teams coordinator title because I want to give some of our other staff some of those responsibility and not put it all on one guy. So Andy will coach on the defensive side of the ball. He will coach the outside linebackers, and so Derek Ansley will coach the whole secondary with me helping Derek.
And special teams is going to be a group effort, or?
Special teams will be a group effort. Andy will be in charge of the kickoff and punt team and some of the other units that I'm still working with some of the offensive staff, but there will be nobody with the title of special teams coordinator. And I'm doing that because I believe in a lot of the coaches that I have on staff to handle the special teams, and I'm also doing it because I wanted to relieve some of that pressure of that person with all that work to do, and to help get back in the defensive room, and to help Coach Elliott and myself, and just get another mind in there with Coach Ansley and Coach Brumbaugh, and just the way you see it. Just do the math and look at all the teams we compete against, and things are difficult. You know what I mean? There's offenses that are very complex, and there's a lot of good coaching, and it was a position that I really was looking for a specific skill set in that hire, and I wanted somebody to bring some more experience and give us some help in the defensive room.
With the way your entire roster is now, do you anticipate redshirting maybe more of these guys this year, or will you have the same?
I don't know. Last year we were able to redshirt 16 of them, and I was very happy to do that. We're going to be very happy as we move forward. It's always a great balancing act right there, because you hate to burn somebody's year and not use them as much as you'd like. I still prefer to redshirt guys if you can. I think in the long run of your program, it's really going to help you. I feel very good about the 16 guys coming off redshirt. I think they're all going to help us. And so we'll see with this class how many redshirt.
Mark, with the reshuffling, does this mean you're going to be a little more hands-on with that defensive back group?
Yeah, it does. I need to get in there, working in the year 3, much more comfortable with the, just day-to-day operation and all the things. If I could just get Tony to relieve me a little bit and get off, give me a little time in season. But no, I think it's important for me to get more involved. I feel very good about where we're headed in the leadership of the defense with Coach Elliott. I have total 100% confidence in what's going on there, and what's going on, with Shannon on the offensive side of the ball. I feel very great about our coaches. I just, for myself, it's just, it's good for me, and it's good for our team to be involved in. There's a lot of things to look at as you work with your staff, and I had always coached the full secondary, and there's both good and bad to that, So I think, the skill that you're looking for with breaking down safeties and with breaking down corners, it's good to have two of them sometimes, and sometimes it's good to have one voice. So, but it's an awful lot of work, and so I'll be in there to help with Derek. That'll be a lot for him, a lot for anybody, because it's a big group. When you get into nickel and dime situations, you're talking about coaching 5 and 6 guys. But last year, Coach Brumbaugh had a lot on his plate as well, because he had, with certain packages, he had quite a few of those guys up there as well.
Does that also sort of signify that you feel more comfortable sort of taking the training wheels off of DJ to say, you deal with this and I'll go?
No, the training will. There's been no. DJ has been, in charge of that. He and I have always been on the same page philosophically. That doesn't mean we always have all the answers, because things are very difficult. And you've heard me talk about it time and time again. Sometimes when you're not as talented as you want to be, certainly the first year you just start throwing a bunch of things at the wall and hoping something sticks. The second year we got much better in who we're going to be and what we want to be. And I feel very good about the direction of where we're heading right now. And then it's a matter of getting it all coached, and that's where you need a bunch of bodies on the field to execute the things you want to do. So, we went through a transition, both with myself and Coach Elliott, with some of the things that we wanted to evolve to. I feel very good about where we're getting to and who, exactly who we are. And I think Coach Elliott's done a great job of organizing that and putting that package together, and it'll help us be very clear on what we're going to do as we move forward. It did come up, and it certainly was something that I addressed, each time in the homes and things like that. And as you can imagine, nothing but smiles there from the prospects, because they're coming into it at a very good time. Who else?
I know you're excited about the guys you do have, but take us back to Damian Harris's decision and how you felt going into it and how you all regrouped after he made his choice.
Yeah, very happy for Damian. Obviously, we wish he was here, but we wish him nothing but the best of luck. I really enjoyed getting to know Damian and his family. He's a quality young man and a great football player, and he'll have a great future. So, we were disappointed, but we moved on very quickly and went back to work. So, it's part of it. I know this, just like I said many times, that I feel very good about the work that we put in to show Damian how important he was to us. And sometimes you're going to win some of those and you're going to lose some of those. So it's part of the business. And But I felt like our staff, and every legal time I was allowed to be in the school, I was in there every legal time. One of our coaches were allowed to be in there. We were in there for countless hours. So we tried as hard as we could.
Mark and Mike was on the eligibility issues as far as transfers are concerned. Is that strictly in the NCAA's hands?
Yeah. Yeah, somebody asked me that earlier. It's probably not appropriate for me to talk about that, whether they'll be cleared to play or not, because I really don't know. We're going to, we'll file an appeal and send it to them, and we'll see how that goes.
Mark, do you have recruiting territories in mind for the new assistant?
Yeah, we do. We're shuffling through some of that right now, but we'll restructure some things, some territory.
It's too soon to tell us.
Yeah, I don't want to get into all that right now. You'll put me on the spot. I'll be wrong. I don't want to do that. So.
Before about recruiting secondary players like corner or safety.
Mm-hmm.
Guys fit that mold.
Yeah.
You have specific-
Yeah, they definitely do. This secondary group is very versatile. You hear me use that word a lot, but it's true, with all the different packages, all the things you have to do. And, the bottom line is you got to be a very good football player. The guys that could jump in and play corner, play nickel, play dime, even play a little safety, those are the guys you want. And I feel like this group is a lot like that. Very rangy, very athletic, and very versatile.
Some of the opponents that gave you a lot of problems during the season had guys like that in their secondary. Is that kind of like a little bit of a blueprint for what you
I'm sure they did. I didn't look at it that way. I've coached the secondary my whole life, so I know what we're looking for. But no, it is. I mean, I don't know, to answer your question. I didn't notice it, but I know there's very good football players in this league, and that's what we're looking for. And so I feel like once again, I just love the range of this group. Very tall, lengthy guys that can run and change direction. So I feel good about that.
Mark, even with the defections, I think this is, if you go by the rankings, recruiting rankings is going to be the 3rd or 4th best class that he's had in a dozen or so years. Do you like that you've gotten this program to the point that fans here might be grumbling over a class that you feel really good about because the expectation has been raised?
Sure. I mean, I'm not worried about that and the expectations. You know that we're going to recruit the very best players we can, and we're not afraid to compete. We're certainly not going to lay off anybody because some other schools are recruiting them. And once again, we feel very good about this group, and I want to concentrate on the victories that we have in this group, because there's a lot of guys in here that maybe I don't know who or whatever. I don't read all that. You may know that better than me, but I know there's a lot of guys on this group that we had to fight awfully hard for to keep against some very good teams. So I'm very proud to have these guys come and join our program.
Folks, thank you very much. Appreciate it. See Coach.
Sorry.
Coach Elliott there. Yeah, let's go. Okay, question for Coach Elliott?
With a guy like Josh Allen, have you ever had a recruit kind of happen that quickly and when he comes there?
As long as I've been in it, we've had experiences like that before. And with Josh Allen, I see a guy that has a lot of potential. He has the length that Coach Stoops was talking about that we were searching for in this signing class, and he has the speed and he has the athleticism. He has a bright future. He's got a frame where he can gain a lot of weight. He's what we're looking for in an outside linebacker. And, he was in Alabama as a junior, and he played wide receiver. And he moved to New Jersey as a senior, and he played outside linebacker. So I think it was a very good find for us, and I think that he'll end up being a very good player.
You mentioned size and length. Going through the league a couple of years as you guys have done, did that just reinforce that that's what you needed to look for in this class?
Definitely, our league's a very big league, and, you have to have the size to match that. But that's always been our philosophy. Coach Stoops has always emphasized on size and speed in recruits, and we really hit on that this year in our starting class.
Mark says you guys were hoping to sort of keep Bell a secret. What did you see there? Why did you feel like we got to keep this guy under wraps and hope we're going to find out?
Well, I think that it's almost impossible, but in recruiting, you really never want anybody to know what your plan is, or who you want, because sometimes that turns somebody onto another program. But with Avante Bell, he was a guy that was committed to us here when we first got here, and he was a guy that I had recruited at Florida State, so I had a good relationship with him, and I knew what type of player he was out of high school. He ended up going to junior college and excelled very well there, and we fortunately were able to sign him on signing day. And you're right, there wasn't a lot of media hype about him or anything. Not many people knew about him, and he'll get all his hype on Saturdays. Like Coach Stoops talked about, he emphasized that we needed size, that we needed length, and we needed speed. We were able to hit on that, and those guys are all can like I said, they can transition and they can run too. So not only are they big, but they're very athletic. Those guys are going to be able to make plays on jump balls. Those guys are going to be able to be physical on the line of scrimmage. Those guys are going to be able to get off blocks. Sometimes those bubble screens they throw out in the perimeter, you need to have a physical big corner there to defeat the block and make the play. And all these guys are going to be able to do that.
How helpful is it you didn't get Jared Daniel and Jordan Jones in early to start working out and contributing the ball?
Very helpful. in the spring, you don't have your seniors. So your team goes from 80-some players to 60-some players. So to be able to practice, one, you need a lot of numbers to practice the way that you practice in the fall. But then two, on top of that, that's another semester of development with those players. So it's always beneficial and I think critical to get players in at mid-year. And those two guys, I think, will really flourish in the fact that they came in at mid-year.
Talk a little more about Courtney Megan, what you guys saw.
I see a very long, athletic, physical player. I think the guy is, got the potential to be an excellent defensive lineman. He's athletic enough to play on the end, but he's big enough and physical enough to play inside. So he's a versatile defensive lineman too, and he was a very good get for us.
What is the coaching staff talking about getting these players up to speed about the SEC physical management parts of the conference?
Which players?
Players like Jordan Jones.
Getting the recruits up to speed? Repeat the question, please.
What have you guys talked about just working with them and getting them up to speed because as the conference is very demanding on that?
I think these players knew going into it when they signed that the SEC is a physical conference, and Jordan Jones that you mentioned, he's been here for a semester, so he's working in the weight room to put on size and strength, and it's something that you have to have in this league.
Is that it? What else?
Jay, what is the restructuring of the defense? What will you be coaching, and kind of do you like how that's going to work out now?
I do. I think that Coach Boo will be a great addition. He's been a coordinator. He's had success coaching linebackers at a lot of different stops. So I'm very excited to have him. And like Coach Stoops said, anytime you can get more eyes on something, you can get more opinions on something, the more successful you'll be. And defending today's offenses, it's a lot more work. So it takes a lot more. It takes more people to get that done. And so the addition of Coach Boo is going to be excellent, and also getting Coach Stoops over there more often is going to be great.
Okay, folks. Thank you very much. Coach Dawson. Questions for Coach Dawson?
How you evolved from quote unquote air raid to where you are now?
Just gotten more physical up front. If you look at the blueprint of the offense or whatever, I mean, the addition of plays, I'm talking about the basically adding of plays to the offense. And we've added a few run plays here, maybe some pass concepts, but our mentality as far as getting physical up front has changed. We probably just called the run plays a little more than we did in the past. But that question gets asked over and over again. And everybody throws the word air raid around so much, but everybody's just trying to take what defenses give you, trying to put the ball in space, make somebody miss, and get up the field. And so.
That offense in West Virginia in particular has made good use of small, speedy guys in the past. What did you make of the guy you'd offered, I guess, at West Virginia King, and to get him late? What did you think of him and the way he can fit in?
I've always thought the kid was a really, really good player. If you look at it from a recruiting standpoint, and DJ alluded to it earlier a little bit about character and about things that you look for recruiting, the kid's character is off the chart. His love for the game is great. He plays in a great league, on a great team, won a championship, was a player of the year, makes plays in space, makes people miss, outruns everybody. I don't know what else you're looking for.
Walking in here with the energy drink, I wonder how many of those energy drinks you've had to have since getting here and getting the recruiting trail and all
I'm talking about I'm trying to cut down on them. But not many. Obviously these guys, Tommy and all these guys, Coach Stoops' staff, this recruiting class, my hands were not even in it till the end. And so really I had zero part other than following these guys around and getting to know them, really. That was it. And so this next year's recruiting class, obviously I'll be more instrumental at the beginning of actual evaluation. But I will give him credit to the point that all these guys that we're bringing in, not only do they fit what we do and fit the need, they're all really high character guys, which is really impressive. And I told Tommy, I went around with Tommy the first week and a half, I think. And that was the one thing that stuck out to me. You know, all these guys you sit down with, great families, good character. So I think the evaluation part leading up to that was obviously good. And so fired up about all these guys.
Coming into it at the point that you did, could you feel the stress ramp up, the scramble as you guys, you know, there were some defections. Mark said this group of assistants, you know, they're crisscrossing the country, obviously trying to hold it together. He said it really had to work to pull this thing up together.
Well, it's no different than everybody else is doing across the nation, right? It's called recruiting. I mean, you're gonna get kids, you're gonna lose kids the way it is. I mean, the way I look at it is you want kids that want to be here. And so if a kid doesn't want to be here, good luck to him, you know? And so we're going to coach the kids that have UK on their helmet, and we're going to coach them up, and the best kid's going to play. And I mean, from this point, it's about developing. You know, I'm excited to get to know the kids that are here. I haven't had an opportunity to get to know those kids. I mean, it's going to take me a while to put names with faces and everything, and the evaluation through the spring is going to be extremely important. But kids that want to be here, that's the ones we want to coach.
You going to make them wear name tags when they're not just in the hallways even? You talked about that.
No, that was a joke. No, I mean, hopefully I'm smart enough to figure out names after a while, you know.
Other than Geek, were there any of these guys that you were recruiting in West Virginia that you were aware of going into this one?
Really, George, you know. Vince beat me on George. I was recruiting George. I'm glad I'm working here and not recruiting against him in Ohio, you know. And so, yeah, George was a kid that I thought highly of at the beginning. He was one of the guys that I thought really stuck out in this class, especially in that area. And so, I mean, he came here early, testament to my man back there. And so that kid's got a bright future. Great kid, too.
What's your assessment of this wide receiver class?
I mean, if you look at, and I've said it throughout the course of the day, you know, and listening to Coach Stoops talk and DJ about defenses, I mean, defenses play a lot closer to the football today. And so the ability to go vertical is huge. And so, but to do that, you need guys that are tall, that can make plays down the field and are rangy. So you look at the three guys, you know, those guys are all fit the bill. You know, all of them are tall, they're rangy, they can run. Good ball skills, good basketball players, which usually translates into, you know, good job of torquing your body and handling the ball. So I'm excited about all those guys, all great kids, and so all those guys have a chance, no doubt.
Share your early impression of C.J. Conrad and how much might he be able to
A lot. I mean, if you look at over the past probably 4 years, we've slowly used tight ends more and more. I don't know what percent last year that we used them, but I would venture to say towards the end of the year, we were using them a lot. And so if you have a guy that can block good enough, but also threaten the and it goes back to what my man was saying about having receivers that can catch the ball down the field. You know, if you can back those safeties up and create matchups on the inside with guys that typically don't cover great, and you can run the ball better and dink and dunk, you know. And so, and if they start coming down, I mean, you want to obviously take what the defense gives you. And so you gotta back them off. But when you back them off, you gotta have guys that can make plays underneath too. So I definitely think he can do that. You know, judging by what I've seen on tape, you know, he's a guy that can make plays down the field. Excited about that. And but he's got to be physical too. You got to be able to physical in the trenches.
Shannon, now that things sort of calmed down a little bit, what do you do now that you're going to be in the building a lot? What's sort of your order of things to get done?
Hopefully I start working out a little bit. I might have to buy bigger pants. But no, I mean, you know, we've started meeting offensively, and we've got a couple of days that we want to, you know, we start meeting with players soon. You know, that's going to happen because, you know, everything's been away from the office so far. So we got to get staggered ahead of the players as far as offensive staff goes, which we started doing. And we're going to just meet and grind through the offense, really. I mean, we got to figure out what we want to do here. And so we're gonna watch all the cut-ups, get on the same page as the staff, and really that's going to be the majority of the day every day. And there's going to be a segment of a couple of days that we start evaluating 2016 guys, but that's really what spring's about. You know, I mean, it's a little bit different here now because we got to grind through. It's going to take us a little longer probably than if we've been together for a year or so. Obviously, that spring going through cut-ups will be a little faster, but we're going to really dissect what's good or what's bad versus what we did at West Virginia versus even what they did here last year, which there's a lot of carryover with that because I've known Neil for a while too. And so, but that's the number one thing, getting everybody on the same page and then getting the communication and everything set with players. And then obviously leading up in the spring, you want to start spring practice day one, where at least our communication and everything, we're on the same page, we're speaking the same language.
Everybody good? Anything else? We have Coach Merrill, recruiting coordinator. Question for Coach Merrill.
What's the general impression that you got this year on the recruiting trail as opposed to past years? You just kind of looking where the program's going.
Just where the program is going. First year we sold hope. The second year was more about getting need, and then now it's about we got to start winning. So when you go on the third year, it's like we like where we're going with this program. Start out with 2 wins, then 5. So this third year we feel that this is the year to get it going.
Vince, what's the last 48 hours been like with, getting new kids in, kids committed, all that kind of stuff?
Oh, it was it can be stressful, but a lot of other coaches went through it too. We was with Coach Maynard last night. He was up to about almost midnight talking to a kid. You just try to get the last touches in, but to me, it's competition, so I thrive on it. It ain't nothing really none that I don't can't handle. I mean, I like it so. Yeah, he got that player. He got it. Coach Maynard did a good job this year. We went to D.C. a lot, and he got some good players out of there.
Describe your reaction when you got the news.
I was totally shocked. Not shocked on it, but you hear like these kids. You just never know. And I think I was doing Matt Jones' show, and they bought it in there, and I was totally excited. But I knew it was 50-50. Coach Brumbaugh did a real good job, and that was a good pickup. So I was very excited.
What were the days like as a 7 or 8 day window? You had 6 guys that you thought real close to signing day were with you, and then they were gone. Was that a high? Is it fair to call that a high stress situation for a coach?
Yeah, it was, I think it's for every coach, but that's why you hope that you have the early signing period. You do a lot of work for these guys, and you hold scholarships. When we get commitments, we hold them, and we don't recruit other people at that position. So, but you got to look at this too. You look at the people we lost these kids to. I mean, one won the national championship. The other one has lost, I think, 4 games in 3 years. So we fishing in the right water. So, I mean, you want to be with that. You want to be. This the type of people we're gonna recruit from here on out. Very important, but we're not going to put pressure on him. He played basketball all the way up until he left. He was when I was recruiting him during the season, he was 230. Then I came back, and for basketball, he was like 220. Now he's back up to almost 230. I think he's going to be fine. He's a very talented young man. But, we got another tight end, Daryl Long, we took last year, who was like 245 right now. When he came in, he was 220. So I feel real confident about them guys.
Vince, can you talk about over the 3-year period, with as much as you guys have brought in, how much different the team physically from the first day?
I think if you ask every coach from day one when we came in, I mean, it was, we knew we had some work to do. And now you ask these guys now, I mean, when we got off the road, I went straight to the weight room and started looking at, just wanted to see some of the guys. And I think I was telling Coach Slarman, the offensive line and the D-line look like SEC players. Them guys do a tremendous job. I mean, you look at our guys, they walk past, our DBs look like SEC players. So from the first year to now, it's been a big improvement. And like Coach Stu said, we getting there. I mean, we starting to get guys that look like SEC players.
3 years of recruiting, get a better idea of what areas of the country work and what areas don't. You're going to start keying in on areas more so than years past, or is it still, if you see a guy you like him, you're going to go after him?
No, I think right now, as just when you establish ground, I think Kentucky, we go always try to get the top guys that they have here. 2016 is going to be a good year here for this state. And then Ohio is going to be one of the strongest, I think, since 2009 for BCS-type players is going to be very strong. And then D.C., we're going to recruit D.C. because Coach Maynard did a good job there. We still going to recruit Florida. You still want to go down there. But if I think you look overall, I would say Ohio, Kentucky, the D.C. area, and then Florida. And then we got to get into Georgia. It's only, 6-hour radius from there, 4 or 5 hours, wherever it is. It's a lot of talent there. So, we're going to try to get in there.
Any other questions for Coach Maynard? Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This time we will have, in the hallway here, we'll have some additional assistant coaches, Coach Maynard, Coach Slorman, also Coach Brumball, Coach Scotty, Coach Ansley. So they'll be available out here in the hallway area.
Minutes.
Didn't sleep in high school this year.
Not this time. I actually got to play this. So, that's all there.
Been here 2 weeks.
How's